Hello. Um, it's 8 in the morning again. Um, I just got done meditating and talking to one of my friends about some stuff that's been going on with me. Um, Very interesting stuff. But we're going to be talking about how Adam and Eve work together today. I touched on this a little bit last time because we had a little bit of time. I'm going to kind of turn this around. This is my computer here. You can see the little Adam and Eve section over here with all the arrows. Smack my camera a little bit. So now that we have the explanation of all the parts laid out, labeled, I told you what they do, I told you why they do what they do. We're going to kind of dive into the how it all works together. And this is like kind of like my favorite part of this is the stuff that we're going to be getting into and the whys. All right, so during this process, there are points where you need to bounce between the stages, and they don't strictly need to be done in order. And this is what I was saying, like, a few of my issues all happened at the same time, and I could deal with them at the same time. And I didn't have to do it like one at a time. It was just like they all hinged around the same thing, so it just made sense to get it all done at the same time. And none of them really stuck, so that told me like that was good. So we just progressed through it really quick. Let's see. And they don't really need to be done in order. So if you have like the acceptance piece and like the design piece down, you figured out what the problem is, you figured out what you want that to be instead of what is the issue at the moment, and then you can change vibrationally to match it. You can put energy into the being of that thing. You don't have to go through, you know, the emotional alignment. If you can do it vibrationally, if you can get on that same wavelength, you should be good. I would still like go through definitely the homework for the manifestation because that's going to tell you whether you are in that zone of being that new design. And as well as the alignment. Sometimes that happens naturally when we move to the Eve part and work on our vibration and our energy and our emotional state. So just like run through it and check it. If you're like, yeah, this is good for me, like don't sit there and dwell on it. Just keep moving. It's like the floor is lava, you know? If you have ever played that game, it's great, but you don't want to stay in the same place too long because it causes cacophony. Let's see. Yeah, some of the steps will be more lengthy and involved than others, and some will be definitely more enjoyable than others. But like for myself, I find that all of them are necessary to find balance between the feminine and the masculine within each of us, and together they were one flesh. So we have both of those components within our bodies. Even though our external body may be feminine, my personality is a very masculine one. And I'm not saying I run around threatening to beat people up or anything like that. But I am a problem solver. I don't ask for help. I have a lot of those, what you would call typically masculine traits of personality wise. Um, and as you learn about those kind of things, you realize, oh, I definitely have more of the masculine traits than I do the feminine. Um, which is, it's an interesting dynamic as a female to look at that and just be like, oh yeah, I am definitely a holder of more masculine energy than feminine. Some of that you can find out through looking at your zodiacs. Um, Air signs are typically more masculine. So I'm a fixed air sign for my sun sign, and I am an air sign as well for my rising sign. So it's a lot of a lot of air energy, a lot of masculine energy. Um, so that makes me very elated. It makes me very comforted to know that, you know, it's not just that I am strange or weird, it's just the way my energy flows. Um, so these are my little notes before we get into homework. I really want to like just jump into all of this stuff because it's so important and I just want to get it out there. Um, so I grew up in a house where gender roles weren't a thing. Like my mom did not sit around and do dishes. She was not, I mean, on paper she was a homemaker. She didn't really work, but she didn't do the things that normal like housewives do. So it's definitely an interesting, like, I don't know, it's an interesting thing to try to work through. But my dad did always work. But my memories of like my favorite meals ever cooked were always by my dad, and he would only cook when he was on vacation from work, um, which was like a huge treat for us. Um, so yeah, learning the ebb and flow of what's masculine energy and what's feminine energy in myself was strange, very strange, and slightly unnerving. Um, because you're like, well, see, I had no guidance when it came to this. I had to learn all of this stuff like on my own. And finding information on those things was, I don't know, sometimes you find people that have like some information, but it's like it doesn't jive with what you know or your experience. Um, so it can be really unnerving. But like I said, no traditional gender roles in my house growing up. So things that are considered feminine energy, um, or things that would be considered like masculine energy, didn't really fit with my experience of life, you know? Um, so getting to like sit down and sort that out and be like, well, which parent did this actually come from? Because it's not cut and dry that this is a feminine energy and it's from my mom. No, that didn't happen. Um, so yeah, just take it as it comes, and if you need to sort that out, I had one of the other people um, that I've worked with on this, like, look up, what does wounded feminine energy look like? What does, distorted feminine energy look like? What does healthy feminine energy look like? Um, what does masculine energy look like? And then the distortion and, you know, the wounded energy. Because we all have some, and when you can fix it, when you can find out why it's broken, um, you can heal. And that's the most important part of this whole thing, is just the healing aspect. Um, all right, so yeah, yeah. As I kind of get into like some more personal things about like my experience here. So if you're gonna be triggered, sorry, but this is my life. Um, so I was really, really fearful of my feminine energy for sure. Um, and it's not because I was weak, but it was because of the stigma attached to being effeminate growing up. Um, Especially how I did and where I did. Um, I felt much more at home hanging out with my brother and catching bugs than I ever did in a dress. Um, my daughters are quite the same as I was. They go out in the yard, they catch fish, not even with fishing poles, just with their bare hands out in the brook. They catch frogs. Um, they have ridden on pigs. Like they are country children. They don't do the girly girl thing. Um, and I'm all for that, because they are amazing people. Um, my one daughter, my older one, is definitely more emotional than my younger daughter. Um, she's in her 20s now, so this has been a thing for life. She's also a Pisces, so the water is all about the emotions. So that's understandable. My younger daughter is a Leo. She's one of the 3 Leos that I have for kids. Um, and she is very um, her own person. She's very yeah, no nonsense. She's very to the point. She likes to get things done. She likes to be her own person. She loves to help people, but does not like being told what to do, um, which is an interesting thing for her, or dealing with her. It's kind of interesting to be like, okay, if you ask her for help, she'll help you, but if you tell her what to do, forget it. You are done for. Um, which is very much a Leo trait. Hilarious. I love it. Um, okay, so uh, homework for this section. So I just wanna, because I didn't get too into it. I just kind of like grazed on the surface. Um, that Adam and Eve are kind of these building blocks, and like with building blocks, Legos. Let's say Legos. Everybody knows Legos. Um, you can put them anywhere you want. Um, and the same way with this, you can go through Adam, you can go through Eve, you can kind of mesh the two together. You can do part of Adam, you can do part of Eve, you can have a spelling bee with the letters. It does not matter. Whatever is more comfortable for you. Even if you can't identify the exact problem that you're having, but you have a design, you can be like, okay, this is my goal, to be this way. Then energetically align, vibrationally align, emotionally align with how you're going to feel when you are that way. Um, and then just go and check the other ones. And that's the thing, you don't have to be like, oh, this is a process, this is going to take me like 3 days. You don't know. Some of the things that I had to fix. Like, took me probably like a couple hours um, of just really like feeling into it and being able to be like, okay, this isn't working for me. It doesn't feel like who I am. It was a behavior that I learned growing up in a situation where that behavior was normal. Um, Not really normal for life, but like normal for me. Um, so, um, yeah. So, use yourself as a gauge. Like I keep saying, I haven't lived anybody else's experience. I've only lived my own. Um, so I know what works for me. I know what hasn't worked for me. And yeah, um, like just just to put this out there, like I was going um, to therapy and I was medicated and I was taking 4 pills a day for anxiety and depression. And nothing in my life was changing. Um, I was getting more aggravated because I felt like a zombie and not able to enjoy my kids because I was like so sedated. Um, so what my goal is to give you guys another option. One that has worked for me. It has worked for other people that I have been through this process with. It's a very functional thing if you just let it be. It's quite amazing. Um, so homework for this section, and I know we're like getting close on time, so I might not have time to squeeze another section in here, but um, so the question one is, are you relating more with the nurturing feminine energy or the analytical masculine? Um, it's it's a very good place to start because if you work better with feminine energy, you might want to start with Eve um, to get your emotions in check, to get your vibration in check, to get your energy in check. And if you work better with the masculine, you might want to go through the processing of thoughts around things more than maybe the energetic stuff or the emotional stuff just yet. But it depends on you and what you're comfortable with and how you function as a human being and in whole, not just this part. Um, all right, and the second thing to look at is, do you have a distorted or wounded version of the feminine or masculine? Um, and like I said, there's resources online. Go look that stuff up. Um, and like, why? Why did that happen? Why did you choose to take that on? Um, like I said, for me, it was my environment growing up. Um, and also, who showed you that version of that feminine or masculine energy that was distorted or wounded? Um, that's an important thing for later when we start like sorting this stuff up. Like, I know one of the homeworks that we did already was like, why? Like, where did it come from? Um, that behavior, like, where did it come from? And then from there, you can kind of unravel that ball of string that's like, oh, this came from there, this came from there, this came from there, and get rid of it all at the same time. Um, that helped me like drastically once I realized I had so so many things like from my mom. um I just kind of got rid of them like one after the other. Like, okay, see you later, see you later, see you later. Oh, this came from there too. Yep, see you later, while we're working on it. um it, it's kind of like I think like spring cleaning in my house. Um, Once I start like cleaning one thing, I'm like, oh yeah, and this can get put away, and this can get put away, and this can get put away, and that can get thrown away. Yay! So it kind of helps us like accelerate that process. And like I said, this can take several hours to several months. And there's no judgment. Like everybody processes things in different ways. Um, I mean, it's kind of like saving money. Like somebody who has like everything could save $1,000 in a week. I mean, I bet you there are people that could do that. I have never been in a situation where I've even made that much in a week. Um, so for me, it would take longer to hit that benchmark. Um, so and that's an external circumstance, and our internal circumstances are very much like a cat got a hold of the yarn and went crazy on it, and we're trying to now unravel it. Um, so be patient, take your time, and it's about you and your journey. It's not about anybody else and what they think. Um, that's something that I had a really hard time dealing with um, in my own experience, because I'm like, oh, what if everybody's like, you have like this distorted energy, like, I don't know, the fear of judgment, I guess. I'm still working through some of my fears, um, but it's getting easier. Um, so here we are. There's your homework. Um, what do you identify with more, the feminine or masculine? Do you have a distortion or a wound in either of those energies? And why? Why did you pick that up? And who showed you that? Where did you learn that? Um, yeah. And I think that's where I'm gonna leave this video. Okay. Um, Peace, guys. I hope this is helping you. Much love, and I'll see you next time.